This week, Boris Johnson faces an interrogation from his MPs as criticism of his handling of the pandemic comes to a head in the House of Commons. In the early stages of the virus, MPs and the public gave the Prime Minister the benefit of the doubt. Now, armed with a better understanding of COVID-19 and more scientists questioning restrictions, a battle for control has begun.
How do people think that liberty dies? It dies like this, with government exercising draconian powers without parliamentary scrutiny in advance, undermining the rule of law by having a shifting blanket of rules that no one can understand. I mean, it's extremely serious. I don't think I look like a hysterical person to you. I'm saying that this is a very serious moment.
There's little sign of compromise. Stung by the number of deaths just months ago, this is a government determined never to see such devastation again. And it's not just about COVID. Boris Johnson's team has always been tight-knit, just a few close confidants making big decisions.
I think it's important in a crisis like this, when things are moving very rapidly, that the government has the power to move quickly, and that is the power that the government was given through the initial legislation earlier this year. But then it's then important that MPs hold us to account and vote on that, and that is exactly what's happening here. And I'm very clear, these are very difficult choices we're making.
But now not everyone at the top table agrees.
We must learn to live with it and live without fear.
Without his boss behind him in the Commons last week, Rishi Sunak made his plea just as the Prime Minister clamped down further still. Ahead of his speech, the Chancellor was flanked by Carolyn Fairbairn of the CBI, who had her own critical message for Mr Johnson.
The hospitality restrictions, the 10 p.m. curfew, these are all hitting businesses really, really hard. And the instruction for office workers to go back to work from home where they can. That is really affecting our city centres and the small businesses that depend on the hustle and bustle.
All this has left Boris Johnson increasingly under fire. It's an already difficult time, and it's written all over the newspapers. MPs want more control, businesses think he's given up on them, and the testing regime that was supposed to save the day is struggling. Behind closed doors, even his biggest supporters now wonder whether the Prime Minister is really listening to them, and they have a nagging fear that Boris Johnson has lost his touch. This is the week when Conservative MPs will publicly call on the Prime Minister to step up and show he's in charge.
You want to get out of the car or drive it?
If he doesn't, those nagging fears will settle in, just as Labour starts to look more credible to voters again.